Turn up the volume, put down your drink, and focus. After a highly anticipated hearing today, everybody in this town was watching. A judge delayed a decision on whether to dismiss Mayor Eric Adams' corruption case. The acting attorney general pushed for the charges to be dropped, arguing that the case made it hard for the mayor to address the White House's immigration concerns. The effort to dismiss the case has caused an uproar at the Department of Justice, leading to many resignations, a total of 8 prosecutors. My nightcap is still here, along with Katie Honan, reporter for The City and host of the podcast FAQ NYC. Katie, you are our expert. You've been reporting on every inch of this. Give us the latest. What do we need to know?
So the mayor was in court this afternoon with his lawyer, and as well as Emile Bove. They faced Judge Dale Ho, who wanted to hear from them about why they want his case dropped, his 5-count federal indictment on bribery and corruption and all that kind of stuff. The trial was supposed to start April 21st, and now it won't. The judge did not make an immediate ruling. He said he didn't want to shoot from the hip. He wanted to take some time with it. He said he would have a ruling in print at some point, but he really wanted to hear from the mayor, and he wanted to hear from his lawyer about why the case is dropped. You know, the mayor took the stand and he addressed questions from the judge on whether he understood what without prejudice means. Again, that means they could bring the charges back up whenever they feel like it at any point. And as you noted earlier, a lot of people view what the DOJ memo says as it's not that the charges were without merit, it's that they are impeding Eric Adams from helping President Trump do whatever President Trump wants him to do. And
which has nothing to do with what the charges are. But the judge said, I want to make sure I get it right, that he has very little discretion to interfere with the DOJ. So if he can't really do anything, is this headed for dismissal?
It appears it could, it could be. I think I took some notes here with what Judge Dale Ho could do. There's not a lot. And as you know, he does have limited discretion. But I think it being dropped without prejudice means they can bring it up in November. If the mayor loses the primary, loses the general, the mayor could no longer be mayor at the end of the year. And at that point, President Trump might not need anything from him anymore, and the charges could be brought up. I will point out that Danielle Sassoon, who quit last week in protest, she said a superseding indictment was coming. They had more evidence that they were ready to unveil that they didn't get the chance to. So I think a lot of people would love to see more of that evidence and to see what can happen with Eric Adams. But I will say, again, he has to win a primary. He has to win a general. And I think those are real issues coming up for him in the next few months.
All right, John, Mayor Adams has obviously refused to resign, but arguably he could still get forced to exit the role either by an inability committee, which is like, I never heard of that before, and I absolutely love it, or Hochul, the governor herself, could tell him to bounce. What do you think is going to happen?
All right, inability committee, as currently constituted, is basically New York City's equivalent of the 25th Amendment, right? It's basically someone is incapacitated. So it's not set up to remove someone for corruption. The governor has...
He can't say... I mean, how are they going to say he's incapacitated?
They're not. I mean, I think at the end of the day. Now, the comptroller, who's also running for mayor, sits on that committee, and he's pushing for it. Second thing is the governor does have a overly broad, never-used-before power to remove a mayor. This is unprecedented. For it to go forward. We had Jimmy Walker removed for corruption, essentially, in the 1920s. That led to the mayor of Fiorello LaGuardia, but there was a large investigative process run by...
So 100 years ago.
Yeah, more or less, yeah. And but there's not time for that right now. There's a primary in June. So, look, I'm chairman of Citizens Union of New York, which is New York's oldest good government group. Today, we took an unprecedented step to call for Mayor Adams to resign. And if not, he would resign, then him to be removed. But more importantly, we need to also get processes in place to deal with a situation like this. Mayor Adams has had 4... Right now, there's not a way for New York City to address a corrupt mayor and remove him.
Doesn't that seem strange?
Yes.
In New York City, given our history, that process
Just saying.
wouldn't be in place?
Yeah. It does. And so, those things need to be reformed. They need to be addressed. But look, we had 4 of his own deputy mayors resigned last weekend because they said they could not support him anymore. The Danielle Sassoon, when she quit, she said there was a quid pro quo explicitly requested by the mayor from the DOJ. And the DOJ today came up with new rationales for why you should drop the case. And you've had, as you said, 8 prosecutors resign over this. So this has every appearance of a quid pro quo of the mayor putting his self-interest ahead of the public interest and basically saying, I'll do whatever Donald Trump says in order to keep my, keep my ass out of jail. Excuse me. And that's the underlying issue here.
Joel, what do you think here? I mean, could one of the reasons Eric Adams stays in that position is because Donald Trump wants him there? And if he were to step down, could Donald Trump then turn around and say, oh, We're done protecting you.
Stephanie, I'm just a simpleton from right across the river in New Jersey. I don't know how we
Just
all
like
do
Mayor
things
Adams.
over here in New York City.
Well, how do you
but
think this is all
why
gonna
would
turn out?
Why would you not be able to do your job while being held accountable in the criminal justice system? I don't quite understand that. No one's made that case to me clearly. Why would Donald Trump need to dismiss the charges against him for him to do his job? I mean, if his job is to execute the duties of the mayor, which includes holding people accountable if they break the law, why would you need to do that? This is not about that. This is about Donald Trump being able to wield power over a local official like Eric Adams, being able to pull the strings whenever he needs to. Because as Katie said, as soon as Donald Trump doesn't need Eric Adams, he's going to drop him like a bad habit.
Wield power in his original hometown, a town that hasn't treated him well ever. What stands out to you in all of this?
That point exactly is what part of this is fascinating to me. I think Hochul is such an interesting figure here because I am a self-aware Texan, and I will concede New York is the center of the political universe right now because it's Trump's hometown, because the House Democratic Senate and Senate leaders are from New York City, and it's got a consequential delegation. And what I see happening with Hochul is one after another, she has these difficult political decisions to make. Most of them are unrelated, but she's at she's the guinea pig for Democratic governors looking at what works, what doesn't work, and opposing the president.